What do you think parents need now what do parents in our community really need now more than ever? Because the world is different than when you and I were parenting. The world is changing
Yeah.
so quickly. So I know you've got to have some insight on what you think parents need more than ever.
Welcome to Families of the Treasure Coast podcast, where real people empower real families and real stories inspire real growth. This podcast is not just for parents, it's for children and young people seeking guidance, direction, and clarity, whether it's about school, education choices, career path, or life's decisions ahead. Through honest conversation, shared experiences, and voices from our community, we explore what it means to grow, learn, and move forward with confidence. Our People Empowering People program and family focused initiatives bring real life experiences that spark new ways of thinking, kickstart your thought process, and offer ideas to help you excel.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Families of the Treasure Coast inaugural podcast. My name is Kimberly Eardley. I'm the CEO of Families of the Treasure Coast. And if you have ever wondered if you're doing parenting right, then you're in the right place. Don't Google, don't look around to your friends and family because Families of the Treasure Coast is here to support you. How do we do that? By providing you with support, education, and leadership skills. And today I'm really excited because I'm going to introduce you to Mary Keith Stevens, one of our senior community educators, and Dr. Jessie Ferreira, who is going to be using her incredible leadership skills to increase our participation in our PEP program, our People Empowering People. So I am really excited about all that this podcast has to offer you. So, whatever you're doing, if you're driving in the car, if you are doing laundry, just keep listening, and maybe you're going to pick up a few tips and tools that can help you in your family life. So, I just want to take a minute and tell you a little bit about Families of the Treasure Coast and what our mission is and why we're here. And we are really all about strengthening families through education, connection, and support. We serve parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, dads, all parents and anyone who is that role model for children. And we do believe that all of us as adults, the children are our responsibility, right? It isn't just the parents, it's all of us. So we want to make sure that everyone in our community is relationship driven and has the tools and the skills that they need to be the best possible role model for our children. All of the programs that we offer that you're going to hear about today are free, and they're funded by the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. And we couldn't ask for a better collaboration or a better partnership, and we thank them for all their support. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Miss Mary Keith Stevens to you. And Mary comes to us as a retired school teacher from the St. Lucie County Public School System. And for that, I'm going to just give her a little bit of applause because to be able to retire as a teacher is an amazing feat. So I am also feel that we get to benefit from all that expertise. So having you on board has just been a real uplifting experience for all of us, Mary. But I want to take a little minute and have you just talk about how you went from your journey and how you went from being a classroom teacher to a parent educator. And, just kind of give us a little bit about your background, Mary. Tell us a little bit about you.
Kimberly, I really appreciate that. So, believe it or not, this would be my third career because I started out at the age of 18 as a working at the public library as a clerk. And putting away books. So I started there, and then I decided, what took me into teaching was my children. You know, I learned early on that if you want to make an impact on your children's future, the first thing you have to do is you have to be involved. And so I knew early on I wanted my children in magnet schools. And I found that I was putting my children on a magnet school waiting list while I was pregnant. So I was like, oh gosh, we need to change some things. Why is it that school, it's so hard to get in kids into school? So that was my educational beginning. So I did 24 years of teaching. As I was in the system, I realized there were a lot of things that were happening. But the bottom line is everything started at home with the kids. So I built a lot of rapports with my parents and fellow educators and things like that. So I spent a lot of time just getting to know people and talking to people. And I found that that was the best path for me, and it helped open the doors where I had a really great open line of communication with my parents. And so even today, I'm still reaching out. It's funny, the other day I was in the store, I was out shopping, and I went like 3 or 4 different stores. I ran into 7 different former students. I
Wow.
was like, who does that? I was telling my daughter, I was like, who does that? 7 different students. One I didn't remember 22 years ago. She's like, Monica, it's Monica. And I'm like, Monica? Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember you, Monica. She showed me her mom's picture. Her mom has passed, unfortunately. But I was like, I don't. Then she was in hospital homebound. And so that's one of the first things that I did do as an educator is I was even educating the kids that were not able to get their education. So it's kind of how I started with the teaching. And so I was teaching because I was doing hospital homebound. I was teaching second grade, but also working with high schoolers as well.
So when you were working in the school system, you mentioned you worked with a lot of parents. And what do
Yes.
you think you noticed that parents needed the most support with?
I found that a lot of times parents originally they are misunderstood. Um, One of my principals said something to me that really stuck with me the very first year I taught, and it's just something that I always remembered. Parents send us their very best. They send us their very best. Um, and that's how we look at our children. They're our very best. This is the best I can do. This is the best I have. I need you. And I looked at it that way. So a lot of times, I think parents are just misunderstood. Um, People tend to think they don't want the best for their kids. They do want the best for their kids. I think a lot of times they don't understand what the expectation is. And so I would say a communication, just
Communication.
communicating. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I feel that because I think that doing this, you learn that parents, they want to have better relationships with their children. They want to have better
absolutely.
relationships with the teachers.
Mhm.
They're just not really great at communicating that or
Absolutely.
really understanding what that looks like.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I found that once you make them feel comfortable, oh my gosh, the open line of communication. I have the same phone number I've had forever, and I still have parents and students contacting me. I had a student contact me a couple of weeks ago. She's going to school to be a teacher now. I had her in
so
third,
nice.
fourth and fifth grade. And she's like, I just was wondering, was this still your number? I'm in school to be a teacher and I really want your help.
That's
She's like,
awesome.
she were the best teacher I ever had. So I think it's just that communication. And because I always open the doors to my parents,
Hmm.
they really felt comfortable with me. And so a lot of times, you have people say, I'm not giving out my phone number. And I would say to them at the beginning of the year, I have 24 hours to call you from a school phone. Give me 24 hours to call you from my personal phone as well. Don't look for me to communicate with you at the last minute.
Yeah. So do you find that a lot of times parents are, I don't know, maybe just a little leery of talking to the teachers? Do they find it hard to talk to the teachers?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do find that they are they're uncomfortable. I wouldn't say leery, just a little uncomfortable. And once you make them feel comfortable with you, you do not have those problems with getting them to open up a little bit more with you.
Course, yeah. And I love what you said about, I don't know how you said it, but you were, oh, you don't judge them. That's exactly what
Yes,
you were saying. And I
yes,
think that is so important because most parents don't reach out for support. Well, shoot, it doesn't even have to be parents.
it
Let's
is
just say people. Most
people.
people
Mhm.
won't reach out for help or support because they don't want to be judged.
Right,
And that fear of judgment keeps them from becoming better or evolving into,
correct,
better leaders, better communicators.
correct.
So I can't agree with that more.
Yeah.
There's no way we
And
could do this work without,
and the funny
with
thing
taking
is
judgment.
a lot of people like to tell you to build those relationships with the children. You also have to build those relationships with those parents as well.
Hmm.
Once those parents feel that you've opened that line of communication and you built that relationship with that parent wholeheartedly trusts what you're saying to them about their children. They trust what you are doing with their children. Um, you know, it's not that combative relationship.
Yeah,
It just
couldn't
makes
agree.
it for a great relationship. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I guess I have to ask though, after retiring and doing this for 20 years, what made you decide to continue to work with families?
So funny because I was at one end working with the kids, and I was this teacher who talked to the kids. So I had a great relationship with the kids. If the kids I often got kids that were troubled kids. So a lot of times I spent a lot of time with talking to them and figuring out what's going on. Well, why do you have this attitude? What's going on with you? And I found out a lot of times things were happening at home. And so I built that relationship with children. So I kind of after I moved on out to the outside, um, and wasn't teaching anymore, it was okay. I know what's going on with these kids. It's these parents over here. So, when I was afforded this opportunity to come aboard, I was like, okay, this is the opposite. This is a flip. I would work the parents now. I know what's going on with the kids because they told me what's going on with them. So now I get to work with the parents and kind of figure out, how I can support the parents and what's happening with them.
Excellent, excellent.
So
Yes.
it was really a smooth transition for me, just flipping roles. And a lot of times I'm still working with the kids and I'm helping the kids. It's easier for me now to help the kids communicate to the parents and help them understand, well, this is what's going on with me, mom and dad, and this is how you need to talk to them and what you need to say to them. Then it's easier for me to help the parents understand, okay, well, you hear what she's saying? She's saying this or he's saying that. That's what's happening.
Well, I think this is a great segue into talking about your program, which is the Parent Teen Community Connection Program, which does
Right.
exactly what you just described.
Absolutely.
Um, so the Parent Teen Community Programs is set up to work with both teens and parents on communication skills. So you want to tell us a little bit more about that or
Yes. So, parent, it's exactly what I was initially saying with you, where I get to work with the parents, um, and I talk to the parents, and I'm working with the parents about their communication skills. What I love about the program is we start out, we talk about the goals, we talk about the values. Kids tend to learn, parents and kids, I'm sorry. I work with the parents and I work with the teens, so I'm crossing up a little bit here, but um so we talk about goals, we talk about values, and one of the first things that they learn is that your goals and values may be different from someone else's goals and values. And so when you first learn what your goals and values are, parents are often shocked to find out their kids' goals and values are different from their goals and values, even though you're teaching them these same goals and values. Um, but as they're developing and creating their futures, their values may not be the same as ours. And once we realize and respect that everyone has a different set of goals and values, and those goals and values often change as you grow. like the parents may have had the same goals and values as their children or similar, but as they grow, they learn that these things are going to change over time.
Yeah.
So, but once sometimes when you see it, you're like, even myself was shocked because kids go, a lot of times the goals and values are built around finances and things like that. Kids don't have any finances. So it's funny to hear them say, when I say, where does money come in your list of 10 and goals and values, they'll say something to the effect, oh, money is 10 for me because I don't need any money. You don't need any money because your parents are paying the way for you right now. That's why you don't need any money. But that will change in the future. I promise you, money will move up in your goals and values. And so I think it's just understanding where your goals and values are at the particular time that you're that particular time in your life right now. So
One of the things I noticed that you do when you're doing your workshops is that you help the parents understand the developmental stages of their teenagers,
yes,
because I noticed a lot of parents seem to be very confused as their kids start moving through middle school and high school about how to stay in touch with them, how to stay connected with them.
correct,
And I
correct,
love the activities you do because they're really like hands-on and there's a lot of
correct.
role playing. And I've really seen how the families really embrace some of those activities and actually take them home with
Yeah.
them.
And those are things that I bring from the classroom. I in the classroom, we basically had about 15 minutes, a window to keep someone's attention. And so when I come into the classroom, that's what I'm always thinking. I got 15 minutes. What can I do in 15 minutes that's going to really impact the group of people I'm working with? Um, so that, yeah, that's where that comes from. But in addition, I love that we also talk about in addition to the goals and values, we talk about the other things that are important. For example, we talk about I went blank for a minute there. Help me out, Kimberly.
So a lot of the topics that we talk about are just safety issues. We talk about
Safety.
healthy decision making. We talk
Yes,
about safe and healthy relationships.
correct.
We talk about how to avoid, risky
Bullying.
behaviors. How do
Yes,
you
risky
avoid
behavior.
drug
Hmm.
abuse? How do you avoid
Correct.
drug use? How do you,
Mhm.
prevent your child from vaping?
Yes,
Um, and we also work with a lot of parents in this program who are just struggling with some behaviors at home
yes,
and
yes,
not really understanding why their teen is acting the way they are or why
correct.
they're
Communication is a big one too for
it
me.
is. But I
Um,
think it helps
um,
the parent, I think it helps them understand why their children are behaving. And I think once the parents understand, then they're in a better place to discipline or to approach the discipline differently, let's say.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
And some of our parents are, and I've been that parent. I get it. We're set in our ways with old school parenting and with new school kids. It
That was
doesn't
actually
work.
going to be one of my questions was
You-
was really, what do you think parents need now what do parents in our community really need now more than ever? Because the world is different than when you and I were parenting. The world is changing
Yeah.
so quickly. So I know you've got to have some insight on what you think parents need more than ever.
I just think that communication is the biggest thing right now with our children, and communication meaning being an active listener. Where this is one of the things I like to teach, where you're not thinking about what you want to say before you hear completely what the child is saying. So we kind of need to tone our thoughts aside from where we were and how we were raised, and just open up to just completely listening to the child, hearing them out, hearing what they're saying, completely, and allowing them the opportunity to communicate. because a lot of times kids are holding too much in and not sharing their truth, how they're really feeling. So I would say communicating with the active listening being a bigger part of it, because they really need to listen before because a lot of times we're thinking about what we want to say next before we actually hear out the complete thought and what the child is saying. We're running
Right.
off with it. So I would definitely say communication is the biggest piece for them.
And I think it's helping parents support their kids in making healthy decisions because
Correct.
kids are facing so many, I don't know, just so many negative messages, whether it be
Mhm.
on social media or
Correct.
whether it's through AI now,
Mhm.
whether it's their
Mhm.
friends or they're being bullied. There's so
Yeah.
much more pressure on kids. And I think sometimes we as parents, we really forget that our kids have stress and pressure too.
Yes.
And we're not always equipped to how we can react to that. So I
Yes.
think
Yes.
I love this program. It is our flagship program. It is something that the parents do separately. They take their own classes. It's like four to five sessions, maybe six. Those can be done online or in the classroom with
Correct.
Mary. And then the kids actually can work through the workshops themselves, and for their activities and their participation, they get community service hours for their college application.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's important because the evidence tells us that kids that are, well, parents too, we offer them community service work because the parents and kids who are engaged in community service are more attached to their community, are less likely to make unhealthy decisions. And that's what we're really striving for, right? Healthy
Mhm.
kids, healthy community. So
Right.
thank you, Mary. I have to ask you one more question because I'm intrigued. Um, so what keeps you passionate and energized about doing this work? Because you've been doing it a long time. So
Yeah.
what's the secret to being passionate?
I guess you just gotta love what you do. I love educating. I love talking to people, and one of the biggest things for me is I'm a learner as well. So I'm learning every day. I talk to someone. I'm learning new things. One of the things that was and powerful to me as an educator that I like to bring to parents, and it's not funny to watch them react to it, is that I shouldn't, as an educator, I shouldn't be the one giving your kid a hug every day. You have to hug these babies. They want that. They run up to teachers, they run up to all these different people the minute they're getting off the buses, and they're looking for those people who they know they're going to get that hug from. They should be getting that hug on the way out the door, on the way to on the getting on their bus. They got to get those hugs from you. And I'll hear a lot of times kids will say, "My mom isn't a hugger. My dad isn't a hugger." I remember my own kids saying I wasn't a hugger. So they can't get those hugs from the people they're seeing there first. First hugs come home at home.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a great
Mhm,
point.
mhm.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah,
So you also run our Secrets of Modern Parenting program, which is a 4 to 6 session program that
correct.
focuses on older
Younger.
adolescents
Yeah,
and
adolescents.
younger teens, right?
Mhm, mhm,
That would be great for parents who've got kids, let's say 12 to, I don't know, 16 probably. And that is the age where we see a lot of pushback on the parents, right? The kids
mhm,
are wanting their independence. So that's
mhm.
a great one for parents too. That one does not involve the children, that's just for the parents, but
Correct.
it does focus a lot on how to redirect children's behavior, which is the title of our other program that you
Mhm,
also
mhm,
oversee.
mhm,
Um, Redirecting children's behavior sounds
mhm.
just like what it is.
Yes,
And
yes,
that is
yes.
a four to
And
six week program also.
mhm.
Go ahead, Mary. I'm sorry. I don't
I
want
was
to
just
talk
gonna
over
say,
you.
I wouldn't say it doesn't involve the children. I would just say you take what you learned in the class back home, practice it, and then come back and we talk about it. So it involves the kids.
It
It's
does.
just I don't work directly with the kids. However, it does involve the kids. It has a lot to do with the kids. We do parenting plans. We do all different types of activities with that one. So it absolutely involves children.
Well, I got one more question and then I'm going to let you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
So tell me what parents say about the sessions. Tell me what's your feedback you get from parents?
So my feedback always is, I want a part two. And they want to do this, they want to continue. And because the way I conduct the class, it isn't like a traditional class. It is more of a group of people coming in. I'm a facilitator. I am facilitating conversations. We are talking about, well, how do you do these things? And one of the things that I did also bring from education, I don't my questions are, well, what if this happens? Well, how about if this goes wrong? I do the what if and how abouts. I don't do the you shouldn't do and why would you do that. So a lot of times is, well, what are you going to do if this happens, or how would you react if this? So I'm big on the what ifs and how abouts, and I love to see other parents answer. I love to see when other parents find something that really works for them. And like I said, I'm a learner. We are at an age and a stage in life right now where computers are running these children. These children live for these things. And so I've been learning a lot of different techniques for how to incorporate that in your parenting skills. Alexa is my new best friend. Alexa now wakes up my granddaughter for me in the morning, and Alexa reminds her when she's still in the bed. Yeah, I didn't know you could do all that with Alexa. Alexa hit my nerves once, so I had put Alexa back in the box. But after one of my sessions, pulled Alexa back out of the box, and now Alexa's my best friend because I don't have to get up in the morning and walk across the house to wake her up. And I didn't know you can tell Alexa when a child is reading and you need 30 minutes of reading. Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes, please. Alexa can do Alexa's there's so many different things that I'm learning as a educator that I can share with parents. About ways that can help you make parenting a little bit easier, because most of us are working and we have to work. So, and then when you come home, you have to cook dinner and you can't sit there and monitor reading for 30 minutes, which is important as a future, as a past teacher, very important that they get that reading, and they should be reading every day. Alexa's your friend. Alexa can help you monitor that.
Well, I think that's a great tip or tool. I've never thought about using Alexa that way. So, hey, I think that's the tip of the afternoon, right there.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Well, Mary, I appreciate you being with us. I hope you're going to hang around while I talk to Jessie.
I will definitely.
And if you think of anything that we might miss, you can just chime in.
I will.
But Jessie has been patiently waiting for us over there. And I should say, Dr. Jessie.
You're fine.
Dr. Jessie Ferreira, thank you for joining us today on our very first ever show.
I'm super excited to be here, actually.
I'm excited to have you. So, Jessie, do you want to tell our audience a little bit about you and ASQ Empowerment?
Sure. So I think you mentioned it, but I'll mention it again. I am the CEO of and co-founder of ASQ Empowerment Services. My background is in strategic leadership, adult learning, and personal development or human development, right? I actually have a PhD in strategic leadership. And so I'm very passionate about leadership, not necessarily the theoretical side, but the human development side. Our work at ASQ Empowerment Services centers on how individuals grow through life transitions, right? How people evolve. We have a very deep belief that people don't actually lack ability. They just lack the space, the clarity, and often the support, right? And so I'm tumbling my words too. Our work focuses on helping people make sense of their inner world so that their outer world lives feel more manageable.
Oh, I like the way you said that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's really
Do
the
the
center
inner
of what
work
we
so
focus
the
on.
outer work works. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. And I think that, ASQ basically was born from, me and Omar's lived experience. Omar is my husband and also business partner. and not the theoretical side of it. So when I mention my PhD, it's just because I've learned so much about it, but really the center of what we are passionate about and what we teach and facilitate about is that lived experience portion. And so we will see that a lot of people are just, I don't know, when people have to live through their lived experience, right? Most of the time people are just expected to just figure it out. You just figure things out without tools, right? And so what we do is we provide tools, or we give people tools to reconnect with their strengths, help them build their self-trust, help them lead themselves before trying to lead others. And mostly that's just about empowerment, right? It's about capacity, not perfection. Trying to be very succinct with my words because I can talk forever about stuff that we do. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're telling us exactly what we want to hear about leadership and why
Yay.
you did this work. So, what exactly was that defining moment for you that pushed you towards doing this type of work?
It was really just my own lived experience. You know, I went in to get my PhD because I thought I wanted to do something completely different than what I'm doing today. And I know you know my story. You know, I had a lot of doors closed on me and was very frustrated and became very confused and very demotivated about life in general, about who am I, what I have this PhD and now I'm not going to be using it in this capacity. This is where I was supposed to be. And I really had to take a deep dive into really evaluating who I really was and remembering who I was, which is one of the things that we talk about, remembering who I was before all of the labels were applied into my life as a result of being in society, right? Because that's what happens. I'm Dr. Jessie Ferreira, but I'm also just Jessie. I'm just a person who has lived experiences just like everybody else. And I want people to know that they want, like I said earlier, when you know your inner world, then you can lead out externally, right? Outward. And so that's really what motivated me into this work, is just really that idea of empower. That's why we call it ASQ Empowerment Services. We want to empower people.
Well, I am actually a benefit of some of your teachings. We met at one of your brewing leadership sessions.
Yes.
And that's when I first wanted to talk to you about our People Empowering People program.
Yes.
And that's kind of how our collaboration came to be. But why don't you tell me what People Empowering People means to you personally?
So I kind of already brushed over it, but I think so. Empowerment, right? That word empowerment, or empowering in this case, isn't something that's given. It's something that's remembered, right? When people, I'm trying to think of how to say this really succinctly. For me, what it means is individuals discovering their own voice. I mean, have struggled with that for a long time, discovering my own voice and trusting that voice, right? It's about learning together in community and growing confidence that has a butterfly effect that ripples outward, right? True empowerment multiplies. It doesn't depend on just one person or one expert. It's a collaborative event or situation or process, you know?
Right. Excellent.
That's what it
Excellent
means to
answer.
me. Good.
And that's because our People Empowering program, that's exactly what we're trying to do, right? Is
Yes.
let people build the skills to trust themselves, as you said, and to
Yes.
trust their decisions so that they do
Yes.
become better leaders, better parents, better community members. So
Absolutely.
I am really excited about the collaboration with ASQ, and you're actually going to be doing our People Empowering classes beginning in January.
Yes.
You're going to be doing them on Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Yep.
And I'm really excited to see this. So I have to ask though, what leadership skills do you think show up in family life, like everyday family life? How can we use our leadership skills?
So, you know, you in your conversation with Mary, a lot of these things were really touched on. I think that communication is very important. I have been a firm believer that communication is the foundation of an individual and in relationships, right?
So true.
Right? I just feel like when you first listening to that inner voice, listening to your intuition, to be able to say things and use your voice to say the things that you need to say, right? And be able to, rather than be reactive, be proactive in how you're communicating, because it's important to it's important to share and say what you need to say, right? So I think I might have forgotten the question, but the tools are really just to help people communicate clearly, again, respond instead of react, and make intentional choices. So you both, hearing you talk earlier, have said these things. And I think that that's what we're doing, is we're just enhancing what already is a proven successful program.
Right. Because we've seen some really great changes in some of the people, in the parents that come through our programs, and those that come through PEP. But I feel with this collaboration with ASQ, with the expertise that you're bringing to the program, you're going to really level up the education that people are going to be getting. I feel that this is a really great value to people, because it's not often that you get a doctor who is providing a free education session to people in the community. So I think that should be very exciting, and I'm really hoping that we see some incredible feedback from it. I know that the seating is going to be limited. We haven't even released the registrations yet, because it's going to be a great session. It's going to fill up quick.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We're excited about it. And I do have to say that I wanted to start my portion of this conversation with just saying that one of the things that brought us into alignment is the fact that we're both very human-centered individuals and organizations, right? And I have to say that I think both you and Mary and your team, because the work that you're doing isn't for the faint of heart, and you feel the passion come through in just the way that you speak, the way that you act, the way that you show up. And I just wanted to say that I honor that, and that I'm super grateful to be a part of this team and this collaboration. I'm super excited about helping parents to give them the skills that they can integrate into their daily lives. I'm super excited about it. And just knowing that I'm a part of this team is just, it's empowering for me.
Well, thank you for saying that, Jessie, because I think that ASQ is going to bring some really great structure and coherence, and some just fantastic leadership tools to the program. And I couldn't be even any more excited. I think we're both lucky we found each other.
We are. I love it.
I do too. So I think we've been talking for long enough, but I don't want to make this, the longest podcast ever, but I do want to ask a couple more questions. So Jessie, tell me a little bit about why you think, what gives you hope about families in our community? What gives you hope? Mary, I'm going to ask you to kind of weigh in on this too. What gives you hope about our families in our community?
I think that's a great question. I think one of the things that gives me hope is, and I think that Mary touched on this earlier, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe you did, Kimberly. I think parents want to grow, right? Families are resilient. I think families are resilient when they're supported. When judgment is removed, people rise, when you're not judging them and making them feel, shaming them. And I think that the support that they receive from Families of the Treasure Coast, and now alongside ASQ Empowerment Services, that unlocks capacity. But if I was to answer that, I would say that parents want to grow, they really do. I'm a parent too. If I would have known about Families of the Treasure Coast 30 something years ago, it would have been great. Right, Mary?
Absolutely.
It's great.
And the thing is, it's been around, and we just didn't know. So now that's our job, to help make sure we are letting everyone know. And I do. I'm telling everyone about it. It's for amazing. Sure, because it is a great service, and that people just don't know it's available to them. And parents need us.
Yeah.
They
absolutely.
need us.
Yep.
And I know I asked you guys this question about, what makes you continue to do this work or want to do this work. For me, it is that feeling of watching the parents get it when they have that aha
Mhm.
moment
Yes.
and they're
Yes.
sitting in front of you and you could see it all over their face.
Yeah.
That is the best moment for me
Yeah. Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. And
Um,
the thing is that parents come without manuals. I think you've all
Correct.
alluded to that
mhm,
earlier too, right?
yeah,
Parenting doesn't
Mhm.
come with a manual. We don't have an SOP on, okay,
Mhm.
this is what we're going to do with our kids, and they
right.
care. They care about their kids. They care and they
Mhm.
care
Mhm.
deeply,
Right.
but I
Correct.
think when they lack the resources and the tools, that's where the frustration builds. That's where they get closed up.
That's
That's
where the
where shame
stress comes
settles in.
in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're
Yeah.
all going through it. We're all
Mhm.
financially stressed. We're all
Correct.
mentally
Correct.
taxed. We all feel this. And again, I just think that when we're able to sort of, with the tools and the skills that we're providing these
Mhm.
individuals, they start to kind of get their inner world together. Then what comes out is
Mhm.
just coherence. Coherence is building these things and getting these things into alignment so that
Mhm.
they are speaking from coherence. They're speaking cohesively. They're expressing
Mhm.
themselves. They're
Uh-huh.
conversing. They're having a conversation with their children, and vice versa. And that's empowering and it's a beautiful
Mhm.
thing. And that's something that ripples outward.
Yeah. I
We
couldn't have
keep
said it
saying
better.
parents, but with our people empowering people, it may not even be parents. It may just be people who want
Caregivers.
to improve upon their neighborhoods,
Absolutely.
or improve upon something that's happening in their everyday lives.
Yes.
So we're not just open for parents. We're open for our community,
Yeah. I'm
and
Adults.
so
that's
glad you
Yeah,
just
said
any
that.
adult.
Yeah. I'm
yes,
glad you said
adults.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that we're only focused on parents,
Mhm.
because this is not just about parents. This may be the people who are not yet had children. Because when I tell you, I tell one of the first things I say to my parents is, you need to start worrying about your child's education before you have kids.
Mm. Yes.
So
Right.
that may be something
Absolutely.
that you're planning for. That may be where you want to empower yourself or empower your neighbors or empower someone else. Maybe you need schools in your neighborhood before you have your children.
Yep.
So, we want to empower each other to make our communities better.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Mary,
Yeah.
that's an
Yeah. I
excellent,
love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
great way to say it.
Yeah.
And like I was alluding to earlier, the benefit of having Dr. Jessie available to adults to give them these leadership tools and skills is an incredible value. And the fact that we're able to offer it for free, thanks to the Children's Services Council, is amazing.
Yeah.
So even if adults want to, and they could be 18, so they could be older teenagers, but if they want to learn how to be the most successful they can be, to be the happiest they can
Yes.
be, these
Yes.
are skills and tools that will help
Mhm.
them with that.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
well, I just want to thank you guys so much. I think that we did pretty good for our first podcast.
I
Not
think so
bad.
too. I
Congratulations.
think
I'm
so.
super excited to be here for
Yeah,
this
me
one
Yeah.
too.
too.
And I
Yeah.
just really want to thank all the friends and partners and families that listened today or tuned in, watched this video. And if there's anything I want to say, it is please check us out at familiesofthetreasurecoast.org. We're on social media. We have Facebook, we have Instagram. Give us a call, 772-302-3147. You can text us. We're here. We answer that phone 24/7, believe it or not. Sometimes I might get a little crazy, no, I'm kidding, but that phone is available 24/7. We have a parent warm line, and that is there just for parents who might need a little extra encouragement. Maybe they had a rough night with the kids. Maybe the kid, couldn't get on the bus and the day just went to pieces from there.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
here to support you through all of that. So,
Mhm.
if I could leave you with one thing of encouragement today, it's don't hesitate to reach out for help. We're here.
Absolutely.
We're not judging. We're here
Absolutely.
to support. We're here to help. And that is our whole purpose. So
You
please
are
reach out to us.
you are not alone, basically.
You are not alone.
I
You are
love
not
it.
alone.
I
Well,
love it.
Mary and Jesse, I will see you, I guess, next episode.
You got it. Thank you
All
so much
right.
for
Definitely.
having me again. It was
Yes.
Thank you.
amazing.
And we'll talk about more and we'll have some other guests on. In the meantime, you guys have a terrific new year.